and its territories, as I showed to you, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj. Okay. Drain the western Himalayas, that is flow through the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They flow almost parallel to each other. See, from the western Himalayas, to the west part of Himalayas, all they have their origination from the Himalayas. They flow through Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, and then they reach Pakistan, and from here they reach the Arabian Sea. Okay. All these rivers, another one thing is that they are running parallel to each other. All these rivers are running parallel to each other. A major tributary of river Indus, the Satluj, originates from Mansarovar and flows westwards. Now, Satluj, see here, Satluj, this is the Mansarovar lake. So it originates from the Mansarovar lake and it goes westwards. Okay, and this is river Sangpo, Sangpo, or you can call it, when it comes to India, it's called the Brahmaputra. It too originates from Mansarovar. Both these rivers, Brahmaputra from this side, which is called Sangpo at the time when it's in China, and the river Satluj, both originate from the same lake, Mansarovar. But this goes towards the east and Satluj goes towards the west. Okay. It flows through the Punjab plain, Satluj. Okay, and do the depositional work. That's why it's a fertile, you have fertile land in Punjab. Okay. Indus flows through Pakistan, and here from there the Satluj meets river Indus, and then through Pakistan it goes and meets the Arabian Sea. Okay. The river Ganga originates from the Gangotri glacier again. Okay. And crosses the Himalayas to become an east flowing river. It flows towards the east. Many tributaries of the Ganga also flow in a similar manner. Yamuna, originating at Yamunotri, is a major tributary of Ganga. See, next to Gangotri you have Yamunotri, and the Yamuna originates from there, and it also goes and meet the Ganga. Okay. Another major tributary of Ganga flows through the northern part of the Greater Himalayas, crosses the Himalayas to enter India. When it flows through the Himalayas, it is called Sangpo. When it crosses the Himalayas, it is called Dihang, and its eastward flow thereafter is called as the Brahmaputra. So, what you saw of Ganga, this is Yamuna, and this is the other tributary of Ganga. See from where it starts. From the northern Himalayas, it starts. It is called Sangpo in China. In China, it comes near Arunachal Pradesh. Then it takes a U-turn and it enters Arunachal Pradesh. Where in Arunachal Pradesh, it is called Dihang. Further, it takes a turn and comes back westwards. And here it is called the Brahmaputra. And the Brahmaputra comes and enters Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh, it meets River Ganga. See, River Ganga over here, when it reaches West Bengal, it is called as the River Hooghly. And see here, River Hooghly. It flows down to the Bay of Bengal. Similarly, a second section of it goes to the branch of it goes to Bangladesh. There it meets Brahmaputra, and it then goes and meets in the Bay of Bengal. Okay. So now this is another big river. So both the rivers, they bring lot of water together in Bangladesh. That's why you see so many flooding situations coming in Bangladesh. So, besides these Himalayan rivers, Ganga receives a number of tributaries from the peninsula. See, these are the rivers which are the tributaries of Ganga at the same time from the peninsula. This is the peninsula. And here you have the Vindhya ranges. Okay, so from the northern part of the the northern part of Vindhya Ridges on this side, you see the Chambal, the Shin, the Betava and the Kon. They are also the Sun River. They are also going and meeting the Ganga River. Okay. So here you have the Himalayan tributaries coming and meeting the Ganga, as well as the peninsular tributaries coming and meeting the Ganga. Okay. Now let us come to the peninsular river, these rivers. Okay, in the peninsula. The peninsular river systems can be further divided into east flowing, that is, the rivers which come and meet in the Bay of Bengal, open up in the Bay of Bengal, and the rivers which are opening up in the Arabian Sea, means those rivers which flow towards the east and those rivers which flow towards the west. Okay? Now, the major divide, east and west, who makes them east, west and west, eastward flowing rivers and westward flowing rivers? This is the reason. This is the Western Ghats over here, and because of the Western Ghats, okay, the Western Ghats, these rivers move towards the east. Okay. The peninsular rivers, being rain-fed rivers, seldom face the problem of floods. They are seasonal in nature. Now, all these rivers, peninsular rivers, they are seasonal because they depend for their water only on monsoons. So there are seldom floods, rarely, not always. That with Ganga, it is always a frequent floods, but here the floods are rare because only during the monsoon floods occur over here. Okay. The west flowing rivers occupying the area between the Western Ghats and the Arabian coastline are short in length but swift. Now if you see the rivers over here, okay, they are from the Western Ghats, so they are short and swift because they are coming down from a mountain. Immediately they are reaching the sea. The Western Ghats are very close to the Arabian Sea. Okay, so they are swift and short. Therefore, they form estuaries. Okay, here. Therefore, then this condition of short and swift rivers exists in the states of Kerala, Karnataka and Maharashtra. Okay, and a little part of Gujarat. Okay, southern Gujarat. The coastal rivers in Kerala have long extending backwaters near their mouths. These water bodies are locally known as kayals. As we go northwards, one see in this peninsula, okay, as you go towards the north, what you see is that there are certain rivers like the Tapi. Here you see the river Tapi, the Narmada, the Mahi and the Sabarmati. Right? The Tapi and Narmada flow slowly through rift valleys. Mahi river flows from northeast to southwest, whereas river Sabarmati, collecting its headwaters from the southern slopes of Aravalli range, flows in somewhat north-south direction. Now, see, the Tapi and the river Narmada, they flow in this way, parallel to each other. They flow to the rift valleys, whereas Mahi, it collects its water from the northeast region and flows towards the southwest. Now Sabarmati collects its water. These are the Aravalli ranges over here. From the southern part of the Aravalli ranges, moves southwards and meet the Gulf of Khambat. Okay. See. Now there is another river. Another noteworthy river from the catchment of Arabian Sea is river Luni. So this is river Luni. Okay. Now it originates along the western slopes of Aravalli range and flows in somewhat northeast to southwest direction and flows in the Gulf of Kutch. So this river Luni originates from the western Aravallis. Sabarmati from the southern Aravallis. So these are the Aravalli ranges. Okay. Sabarmati from southern and Luni from the western, and it reaches the Gulf of Kutch. This is the Kutch area. So it reaches the Gulf of Kutch. Now let us see the rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. This is the Bay of Bengal. Now let us see which are the rivers which reach the Bay of Bengal. Most of the area of the peninsula is drained by the river flowing towards the Bay of Bengal. The important river systems are the Mahanadi, okay, the Godavari. Here you see Godavari coming over here. See, it starts from Trimbakeshwar and it reaches the Bay of Bengal. Then here you have Mahanadi, okay, starting from Amarkantak. No, sorry, it starts from here. Amarkantak say Narmada starts, okay. So this is Mahanadi, this is the Lake Chilka, and this is the delta system of the Mahanadi. Then the Godavari you have, the Mahanadi you have, then you also have the Krishna here and the Kaveri. Okay, this is Krishna, right? And Kaveri, see, here from Mahabaleshwar, it goes on. Krishna river and goes to the Bay of Bengal, and the Kaveri river from the Brahmagiri, it goes to the Bay of Bengal, right? So they are on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. This is the Western Ghats over here, and they are on the eastern side of the Western Ghats, and from they originate over here and they reach and meet the Bay of Bengal. River Godavari is the second largest river system of India in terms of catchment area. So River Godavari is the second largest. That means after Ganga, it is the second largest river system. Okay. To the south of Godavari is located the basin of River Krishna. This is Godavari, and to the south you have Krishna. Okay, the basin of Krishna. This is Godavari, this is the basin of Krishna. Right? Its major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. Krishna, see the river Krishna, which river Bhima and river Tungabhadra. They come together. Tungabhadra comes from here and Bhima comes from here. And there are these small rivers. They come together. They meet, and is Krishna. It goes and meet the Bay of Bengal. Right? Now, River Kaveri Basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is on the one of the major rivers of the peninsula. Then Kaveri, see, from Karnataka it starts and it comes comes to Tamil Nadu, and from where it goes to the Bay of Bengal. Because of the Kaveri river basin, it has improved the irrigation for a long time. Now the Chola kings had constructed a dam on this Kaveri river, on this river Kaveri in the 2nd century AD, and now is the 21st century, and still the dam and the canal system which they had constructed is still been working. My dear friends, it's still working. For 19th centuries it's working now. Okay, till today the dam and its canals are operational. So this is all about the different physiographic divisions of India and Brazil and their drainage system. With this, I take your leave. Go through the chapter, go through the maps, okay? Try to read the maps and go to the maps again and again, so we'll remember the places, okay? Thanks, and I take your leave. Good day.